I haven't got the enthusiasm to do that, so I'm not going to do that today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today is more than a carrying you forward day with some progress on and work search. It's going to be a maintenance day, sort of doing the stuff that we all inevitably need to do to make our lives livable and comfortable.
Yeah.
To make our lives work, all that ancillary stuff. Well, that's good. I often find that's a great alternative if I can't work. It's a very productive one for me, because at least I feel I'm not good at balancing the two, and I never have been, I think. So saying, okay, well, this is a maintenance day, to make my life work, automatically helps me feel better. And when I've done it, I feel even better, because I think, the apartment's nice and clean, I've done the ironing, I've done this, that, and the other, and I bought my food. It feels good. So that, for me, is a very valid alternative. And I use it as a very valid alternative because I know I'm weak at it. So if there's a chance to work and I've got my head in it, I'll work rather than go buying food.
Right.
Which isn't healthy.
No.
Okay, all right. So Becky's gone. She's now gone full time, or will she come back?
Well, that's an interesting one, because I just assumed that she was. I thought she was going back permanently, but Jane said to me, "Well, isn't she coming back after she's finished in season?" So I'm just thinking about that, how that would work.
How long is a dog season now? I can't remember. Is it about
2 weeks?
2 weeks. That's
2 weeks.
It. She must have wondered what on earth was going on with Bodhi.
Yeah, Bodhi was just beside himself. So.
Yeah, I bet. Difficult, very difficult. I don't envy you that. Especially if she's not your dog.
No, yeah.
And how were things with Jane because of the noise, I imagine?
Well, she was more concerned actually about how Ambrose was, although I think Ambrose is big enough and nasty enough big enough and ugly enough to look after himself, and I think they would have eventually got on. I think there'd have been a standoff, and that was it.
Yeah.
But I think Jane was a bit surprised at how upset I was at having to give Becky back, and then we had the conversation about, well, is she going to come back and I can do this and I can look after her on the days that you're not around. So that was good.
Is that the first time she's offered?
Yes.
Well, that's a big thing.
It is.
Would that work for you?
It wouldn't be my first choice.
Okay. All right. All right.
Because it's quite a responsibility, isn't it, taking two out together?
It is. It is. Especially one that's not your dog, that's going to be used for breeding and everything that goes with that. Yeah. I'm looking at you and you've got no juice today.
No, I haven't, no.
You're dry. It's a dry day for you. Oh, well. So, how would you like today to go? What would you like today to be? Given what we know, given that it's a no juice day for you, it's a dry day. You're not exactly in a muddy puddle, but you've got no zest for life.
No.
And you've got all of these maintenance jobs to do. How would you like to feel about those maintenance jobs, debrocking and all the rest? If you could have anything that you wanted by way of experience with these things, how would you like to come out of them feeling?
I'd like to come out of the osteopath and I'd like my knee to be sorted and not to hurt and not to give way. And I will feel better anyway when I come out of the debrocking. I always like having my hair washed.
And do you like the way you look afterwards?
I'm not bothered.
Really?
No.
Do you find it more acceptable?
What, to be debrocked?
Do you find your face looks more acceptable if you're not bothered?
I quite like, don't know whether I'm going to answer that the way that you're asking the question, but I think I find it a maintenance thing. It needs to be done when you find people talking to the top of your head because you've got 3 coloured hair. I just want to get rid of that, and it needs cutting. It doesn't go into shape. It goes. So yeah.
Because I find that when I go to the hairdressers, particularly if I really need it, and I really need it at the moment, with my old hairdresser Monica in Trentino, I used to come out feeling good because she always made my face look younger and happier. Because when I'm not doing anything, my face is really serious, and I don't like it serious. I like it when it's smiling because the whole thing lights up. So it might be a maintenance thing, but for me, it does make me feel a lot better about myself.
Right.
But you see it as just maintenance. I find it easier to look at my face. That's my marker. Is it easier for me to look at my face without thinking, God, who is that woman? If I think, wow, I look quite nice actually, you'd come up and talk to me. Instead of running away, scaring children. All right, okay. All right, I just want to put that out there. So the osteopath, yes, obviously. Is it constantly painful, your knee? Or does it come and go?
It doesn't hurt now when I'm sitting down, but when I stand up, I probably won't be able to walk for a few steps. And then it's painful.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Okay, and what else have you got to do by way of maintenance today?
That's it today.
So those
I plan to muck out the attic and my bedroom tomorrow.
Didn't you do the attic a while ago?
Yeah, but it needs doing again.
Okay, so why does it need doing again? Because
we've had builders next door but one, and everything's covered in a fine film of dust. And it needs a good vacuum because Ambrose is molting, so there's hair everywhere.
Okay, all right. So it's that sort of muck out. It wasn't the big muck out that you did a few months ago. Because if I remember correctly, the one you did a few months ago, which left you feeling very happy, was a much bigger one.
Oh, it'll be the same as that one.
Okay, all right, fine. Okay, so then how do you plan to, so what would you like to do with the rest of the day?
Today? I'll probably read.
And what are you reading at the moment?
I'm actually just finishing off a Scarpetta book.
And do you know Kay Scarpetta?
Yeah,
I've
it's
never read one, but I know the name.
easy to read, and it's quite well written. So
do you enjoy it? Could you say that you enjoy it?
I do enjoy it, yes.
Okay, so that could be the high point of your day.
It could be.
So how could you build on that high point? What could you do? What would make it a little more special?
I can't do this today. I'm just reading a book.
I know, but if you don't try, I know you can't do it today, but I'm here and I'm doing it with you.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so just stay open to the process. I don't mean try, but stay open to the process, okay? Mm-hmm. Stay open to the fact that in days like these, we need high points. We need to consciously say, I'm worth more than this feeling of the nothingness and maintenance and drab and gloom. Let's give myself a high point. So if that were me, I might work to something that I never have, which is a nice tea. Or I'd go out, and the other day I went to the market and there's a stand from Puglia. I go to the fruit and vegetable seller who sells 0 kilometer food because he grows it. So, and he's a nice chappy. He and his whole family are there and they work on the stand. So I go there and that feels good because I know it's fresh and I know it's not heavily doused in pesticide. But deeper into the market in our little town, there's a stand. There's a guy that comes up from Puglia. I think either he comes up, because I don't hear a Pugliese accent, and the produce gets sent up because they're part of his family. And I go and buy taralli, which are these white, I'll show you them actually, hang on. These are them. They're little, very crumbly biscuit shapes that are made like this with white flour. And they're really simple. They're just olive oil and water and flour, but they've got fennel seeds in. And I absolutely adore them. I've adored them since I was in my 20s when I first tasted them. So I always
we get those from Waitrose.
Yeah, it's difficult. These are handmade, so they're much more crumbly. So I don't buy the mass-produced ones because they're nothing special. But these I buy because they are handmade. They're obviously handmade, and they're very, very crumbly. And so I buy. They're about 13 euro a kilo. So for me, they're a bit expensive, but I don't need to buy that many. And so I always get some when I'm running out, and I come back and I dip them in sauces. Which is something I don't do, but for these, it's the combination is just so nice. I adore it. So I make an oily tomato sauce, a black olive sauce. I make a pesto sauce, and I just dip. I just have a few of them, and I dip them in. That's all I want, and that turns something that's very normal, a very normal morning, into a high point because I've given myself a little treat. And the fact that I can give myself a little treat, particularly at this particular moment in time, is important.
Right.
So it takes me out of it's Saturday, I've done the shopping, now I'm getting on with work. And I've cleaned the apartment, now I'm getting on with work. It is, now I'm going to take a break. I've done the shopping. Well done me. I'm going to make a coffee and I'm going to have 3 taralli with some sauces. So that's my high point. And then I go back to whatever else I need to do, feeling better about it.
Right.
So I use high points to let me, because all I do is work and sleep, watch the TV and sleep at the moment. So I need high points in the day to keep me going. Because I actually haven't had a day off for more than 3 weeks. I don't work all day. Every day I can't, but I do a minimum of 2 or 3 hours on the computer.
Right.
even on Sundays. So not healthy, but I've got stuff to get through, and I need it to get it through by autumn. So I'm under. I would say the old me would say I'm under a lot of pressure, but I don't feel the pressure. I'm not giving up.
Right.
You need to keep going, do what you need to do, and find a way to get it done. So my high point trick is a way of managing that. So I feel that it's not all about the work. It's not all about maintenance. It's also about me doing stuff just for me. 3 taralli, dipping it in a sauce that I love, and that's it. Okay.
Yep.
So I know that you have tea with Jane every day, or most days. Maybe today you could make that a little bit more special, or buy something that you really love.
No, today it's Cavallonero Day.
Black Cabbage Day.
Yes.
Is it? Do you like it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. Okay.
So for, I don't know how long, we have Cavallonero, pancetta, pine nuts, pasta, and a bit of parmesan.
Okay.
That's Friday night tea. It has been for like the last year.
And does that always make you feel good?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if that always makes you feel good, that's your high point of the day. Not tempted to ring the changes?
No.
Because you're very happy with it?
Yes.
Well, then that's your high point. That's your juice reviver. So, and sometimes consciously using these little mechanisms, we don't need to add new ones in. We need to recognize the ones that we've already got in place that when we don't recognize, we tend to undervalue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So watch out for your juice revivers, your Cavallonero days.
Yeah.
So now that you've recognized that you already do one, is there anything else that you could see today might bring another high point, a juice reviver to you?
Yeah, taking Bodhi out to the park.
Yeah, that's always a good one for you. And is it nice weather out there?
Oh yes, it's glorious.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
Okay. Any other one? You said, do you like your head being massaged when it's shampooed?
Yes.
There's another one. Because you're going to be shampooed, aren't you?
Yeah.
So that's another one. My last hairdresser that I went to here did me a lousy cut. It didn't suit my face at all, but boy, oh boy, did she give me a fantastic head massage. I was putty in her hands. It almost made up for the cut that made me, I think, look dreadful. But anyway, so spot them and use them. Be very conscious that they are your high points, because it helps you get more juice from them. More of that good stuff that makes you feel, well, this isn't just an old day. And any old day where I'm feeling sad at the loss of Brodie and feeling pissed off at these charities who are too risk averse. I'm actually taking back my power from that by consciously enjoying these things that I'm giving myself that may seem perfectly normal to others, but for me, you know, your face really lights up when you talk of Cavallonero. You become, you know, the little, it's like a little 5-year-old. All that juice is flowing, that fun, that joie de vivre flows. And that helps us balance out those potentially muddy puddle days. So you've got Bodhi, you've got the head, having your head shampooed and massaged, your hair shampooed rather, not just your head. And what you're having for tea. And who's going to make it? Does Jane make it, or will you make it? Okay. And you've got the book, so you can finish that. It's nice finishing good books. It's a little sad, but it's nice when everything comes together. And have you got another book lined up ready to read?
Yes, another C.J. Sansom book, Dominion, which is about the Spanish Civil War.
And is it based on fact, or is it a sort of romance? Okay, all right. So do you obviously like those sorts of books then?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Good. So you've got that one next to read.
I do. Yes.
Good. So that's good. You're all prepared there.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's a nice day, is the sun in your eyes?
It's not in my eyes, but it's there. It's just above my head.
Yeah, I can see you sort of turning your eyes away a bit, so that's why I asked. If it's a nice day, where do you go to have your hair cut?
I go to a place in Ilkley.
Okay. And is Ilkley, does it have nice streets to walk around, just to take a bit of a walk? Just a window shop, perhaps?
Yeah, I shall do that.
And would that be another juicy moment?
It could be, but it could be tinged with, oh, I'd quite like to spend some money and I don't want to.
Okay. All right. We'll see how you feel, but or could you park the car further away and walk through a park on the way to the hairdressers?
Yeah, I could do that.
So there are ways in which you can add elements into your day that are just for you and your pleasure.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because when you're feeling that you've not got much juice, we need to self-regulate a bit and say, how helpful is this feeling to me, and and if it is helpful because I'm just processing things, what's the line when it becomes just self-indulgent? When do I need to self-regulate and choose other behavior, and how do I want to do that? Okay, so it's not about denying the feelings, it's about letting them do their work and then saying, okay, well, that's done now. While that's being done, I'm actually going to prepare myself for going back into feeling some juice.
Yep, that's helpful.
So be aware that this can be a day when it's coming in Italy, it's not in Italian, it's not in English. When you're bringing yourself back to juice. And that means self-regulation. That means asking the questions that will bring answers that are helpful.
Yeah.
Like, am I processing stuff? Or am I just in a puddle because I haven't done anything to bring myself out of it?
Okay.
How much longer do I need? That could be a difficult question. That could be an unhelpful question. But do I need more time to process my frustration at risk-averse trustees and CEOs? Do I feel ready to do something that makes me feel good, just for a moment or two, so I start bringing myself out of this muddy puddle day, or this juiceless day, this dry day? Because we all need time to digest our emotions and to let them come up, communicate with us, get us to understand things. But once we've understood, we've no need for those emotions anymore, particularly if they're putting us into a muddy puddle or keeping us dry.
Yeah, I suppose it's that balance, isn't it, between being self-indulgent and moping, and
exactly.
as opposed to being active about what you do to make yourself feel better.
Yeah. So making your life workable involves the moments that give you juice, and for you to, particularly if you're having a dry day, for you to recognize every single juice moment you give yourself, because you appreciate it more when you're consciously aware of it. You appreciate it more. If you're not consciously aware of it, you risk having it covered in a film of dryness.
Yeah.
So you don't get the benefit from it.
Okay. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
That's a bit more of a smile. It's a bit more of a smile. It's less of a grimace than a smile, which is good. I'll go for that. I'm happy with that. So, all right. So, I'm just wondering whether you could clarify the situation with Becky and whether that would be another juice moment for you to know, is she actually coming back, or is that?
I just prevaricated the whole day on Monday. I just, for some reason, I couldn't make a decision. Possibly because I knew that really it wasn't the right situation to say yes to Becky, but I didn't want to admit that to myself. Maybe that's why I couldn't make a decision.
Unwrap that for me. I think I've lost some passages in this.
Well, on Monday I had. Sorry?
Monday you took her back, didn't you?
No. On Monday I got a text from Brenda first thing in the morning asking what time did I want her collecting, and I couldn't make a decision about what time, whether or not she was going to go back. I was taken aback by Brenda because then when I got that text from her, so I just sort of assumed that she was expecting to have Becky back. But then when I called her, she said, "Well, aren't you having her?" And it really threw me. And I said, "Well, let me just ring you back." And then I just went into a spin all day long about whether or not I should keep her or not. And I'm saying to you that I think that maybe couldn't make a decision because really I knew that it wasn't sensible to keep her, but my heart didn't want me to say that. So I just messed around.
How do you go on, sorry.
And then I just said I said to Brenda, well, let me keep her for a couple of days more, maybe a week more, and see how it goes. And that was just a fudge. And that was the Monday, and then on the Wednesday, that's when she started to come into season, and Bodhi was just going mad. And I rang her up and said, Jonathan actually rang up and said we had a situation and this was what was happening, and she needed to be collected because there was absolutely no way that in that circumstance I could keep her.
No,
just wasn't. Wouldn't be fair on her, and it wouldn't be fair on Bodhi.
No.
So Danny came over, and I was terribly upset at the idea of having to give her back. But she saw Danny, and she went absolutely berserk. And it was, it was that on Wednesday. That was the first day I really felt like she began to be part of my family, really. So it was a hard day.
Yes, very hard.
Yeah. It was the first day that she sort of began to respond to her name and properly, and it felt like we got a bit of a routine going. It was hard work, but we got a routine going. So.
Would it be possible for her? No, let me ask you the question I wanted to ask you earlier. And now I've gone blank. How do you feel at the thought of her going back? How does it make you feel when you said it was just a fudge?
I felt very sad and low because I wanted to be able to find a way to keep her.
So
But
knowing what you know, you'd still like to find a way to be able to keep her?
well, I think that's where the dog walking business has come from.
Yeah. Yeah. But is the dog walking business rather about a way of protecting you from getting too involved
Involved in what?
in other people's dogs?
So ask me that question again, sorry.
I'm wondering if the dog walking business, because you've made the connection and well done you, is a way for you to try and find, is your attempts to try and find a way to stop getting so involved in other people's dogs, because you'll pick them up and you'll be with them for an hour, and you won't just be with one dog, you'll be with a group of dogs, and it's a business.
So I hadn't even thought of that. I just thought it creates an opportunity for me to be able to be around 5 days a week.
And that's very true.
Yeah.
But there's another possibility, isn't there?
Well, I hadn't thought of that. I mean, the main driver, the main motivation was finding a way of being around all week.
And
Because
go on.
Sorry.
Go on.
So Jonathan is a bit of a star. He can help on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, his days off, and on Thursday mornings. So I'm left with Thursday afternoon and Friday. And it's not a huge amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
And James, the dog walker, comes on Thursday and Friday mornings, and then Jane takes Bodhi out in the afternoon on Thursday and Friday.
Mm.
And Jane has offered to take Becky out as well. But I just didn't feel as if I could not rely, but I just didn't feel like that was enough, that I needed to be there as well.
Yes, I think that's very wise.
So hence the conversation about, if you have a dog walking business and it makes a small amount of money that you can live on, it gives you the lifestyle that you want, and it means you can have the dog.
So it would mean that you could have Becky.
Yeah.
And when she's on heat, you'd have to call Brenda and get her taken away for those 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'd have a conversation with Brenda. I mean, but what Brenda wants to do is she wants Becky to be on heat twice, and the third time she wants to mate her with Bodhi.
Yes, I remember you saying.
And then after that, she'd have the snip.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, we let our bitches have at least one litter, because they emotionally they were thought to be then much calmer. So they'd have the litter and then they'd get the snip.
So I didn't do that with Tess.
No.
Tess had 2 seasons and then had the snip.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be the plan. So there's got to be some give and take, hasn't there, between both of us if we want to do that. Brenda taking Becky back when she's in season, and also when she has the pups. So there's that whole conversation to have as well. She'd have the pups, and then they wean them at, I think, about 6 weeks, but you don't take the mother away.
No, absolutely not.
So there'd be a period of time when she's had the pups when she has to stay at Brenda's.
And would she have to stay at Brenda's if she were mating with Bodhi? Or could she stay at yours?
I don't know what the score is. I don't know whether or not they do the deed and then she just stay. Or I don't know. I'd have to talk to Brenda about it.
Okay, and Murphy's Law being what it is, you'd start this up and then you'd suddenly start getting a surge of interest in your consultancy work. How would you cope with that?
I think that's the decision I have to make, that I concentrate and focus purely on interim work. I'm not looking for a full-time job anymore.
Mm.
And I would manage it by, I don't imagine that we're going to get up to 10 dogs straight away.
No.
So if we got to 5 dogs and I was doing interim work, you know, I'd be putting fat on the bones and we'd tick on nicely.
So, and what about day rate consultancy? Would that be workable for you? Because interim could be interim for 6-9 months, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Which would mean every single day for 9 months, possibly. You'd need to find an alternative or a replacement for you in the business of dog walking.
Well, that's when, you know, that's when I'm saying that I don't think we wouldn't have 10 dogs. When we got to the stage where we had 10 dogs and I couldn't take on contract work, yes, the other would be an alternative, doing odd days. Or one of the roles actually I'm looking at the moment, or I've applied for, is a charity director, but I think it's 3 days a week.
Okay, because I'm thinking about Jonathan and his difficulties with staying motivated. If you're out of the business for any amount of time, I suspect that his motivation will dip, and that might put the business at risk.
Yeah. Well,
I think nothing is impossible.
No.
It just needs to be all of what you know about Jonathan, his strengths and his weaknesses, as well as everybody else who's involved, needs to be factored in. I'm wondering if working for Booths has made him, this sounds very judgmental, and I don't mean it in this way, but I can't find another word, if it's made him more reliable, if it's helped him there.
I think that Jonathan is totally reliable. So for instance, if Jonathan has 3 dogs that need to go out for a walk, he will do that, come hell or high water. What Jonathan wouldn't necessarily have been good at in the past is finding those 3 dogs in the first place, or having the motivation to find them.
All right. Okay. All right. That's very helpful.
And he also, in the past, has given up really easily. So when he started dog walking before, the person that he was dog walking for kept messing him around. And he just had the one dog. And this person kept changing their minds or not wanting a walk, or, you know, you could see it was irritating Jonathan. Yeah. And it wasn't respectful of his time.
No, absolutely not.
So I think, you know, he's aware of that now, and he knows better how to manage that. Okay,
all right. Well, that's very good. It might mean that you at times have to take those more difficult clients, or say no to them as clients.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Well, you've obviously thought that through. That's good.
So I think instead of Jonathan just erupting and saying, "Oh, I'm not doing this anymore,"
yeah,
that it would be a different conversation, which is to the client. You know, these are the terms under which we took your dog on.
Yes.
You're not conforming or fitting in with that. So we need to talk, because it can't go on like this. You know, it's a conversation rather than just a 3 hands in the air and walk away.
Yeah, and a preparatory conversation for terms and conditions with, for example, one of mine. I have a contract when I sign up clients, and it says, you know, you must give me 24 hours notice, or you forfeit that and you pay full whack for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is very interesting, and I think it certainly has the promise of being less stressful for you and less demotivating, because you'll be working with animals that you love. That you don't have to live in your home all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's really a case of you writing the marketing that allows you to self-select clients.
Yeah.
You know, so let's just talk this through. What sort of client would you want? What's your ideal client?
Somebody who wants the dog walking twice a day, morning and afternoon, 5 days a week.
Okay. Are they professionals? What are they? How old are they? Where do they live?
They're going to live somewhere around Otley, so it could be Menston, Ilkley, Benridding, probably as far as Asquith.
So what's the size of that catchment area? If you draw a circle round Ilkley, how far would it extend out? 10 miles from Ilkley?
Yeah, it's about 10 miles.
In either direction?
Yeah.
And do you have lots of dog owners in that area?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how many of them work?
I should imagine a lot of people. I don't know the precise facts and figures, but I imagine that a lot of people will work, but we wouldn't necessarily just be looking for professional people. It might be older people who have pets but just can't walk them anymore.
Okay, and would you have special rates for them?
Yes, I haven't worked it all out yet. There's a menu of prices of different things that we can do, and I just need to talk to Jonathan. Like I said, this is, it's really embryonic. So yesterday I just wrote down, I did a page full of notes about what this could be.
Yeah.
And we just need to sit down and talk it through, really.
And once you completed those notes, how did you feel about it when you saw all those notes down on paper? What was your gut telling you?
That it could work.
Good. I think it gives you more flexibility if it's set up right. My only caveat would be your personal boundaries. Remember that the Holy Trinity: me, we, and in this case, he.
Yeah.
But one way you can develop that Holy Trinity is through a very simple contract when you sign clients up. And you could take dogs for short periods while their owners are ill, or if they're going traveling, or.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And how would you feel intellectually? Because I remember I loved being a chef, but I also hated parts of it because I was intellectually bored out of my head. Because all the other guys wanted to talk about was, who they screwed the night before, which discotheque they went to, and how many E's they dropped. And they were really great guys. I loved some of them, but it was boring, boring, boring. So how will you feel would you feel it would be a loss, the intellectual stimulus, or would you feel it would be a total gain because you don't have the stress of?
Well, hopefully there'd be a bit of both. Good. Because I would want to continue to do some consultancy or interim work.
Okay.
And that would be the counterbalance, really, wouldn't it?
And would you still like to do it with hospices, or would you do, day rates for some of your old London clients and friends?
I think it would just depend on where the opportunities come. I have no problem. It's the cause of the charity, really. It's charity. I know it's charity. It's charity or hospice. It's that sector.
Okay, all right.
And it's the cause that's the driver.
Yeah. And how likely are they to give you a day's consultancy work? Do you know? Does it happen?
I've never heard of a single day, if that's the question, but they do use consultants, yes.
And for what amount of time? What's the shortest that you've heard of?
3 months.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right. And you would be okay with that?
Yep.
And Jonathan would feel okay with that, you think?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds a nice thing to work on. And if it goes nowhere, at least you've worked on it. And you've given it a good shot.
Yeah.
And something else might come out of it.
Yeah.
So you never know. So let's come back to Becky quickly. Just feel into your gut. Do you want her to come back to you? Do you want to have her as you in the same way that you have Bodhi? If everything were a perfect world and you could have what you wanted, what would
Yes.
you want? There
Yes.
you go. So that's what you're working with.
Yes.
That's what you're working with. So when you're ready, phone Brenda and work it through with her. Don't let your fears stop you. Find a way to make it work for you. Obviously for Brenda as well, but that she'll do that. You think about how it would work for you.
Okay.
Okay, because I think at times you've got a very strong mind and it overrules your heart, and I think that I don't think it does you a good service, and I'm saying that because I recognize it very powerfully in me.
Right. Okay.
I manage my emotions, and that just gives us half a life. It doesn't give us the full richness of life.
Okay.
We're all the poorer from it. So if you had that strong a yes and there was a big smile on your face, that's your answer. That's what you want. Find a way to make it work.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. All right. Yay! Oh yes. Oh yes. She's gonna get Becky back. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So what are you doing this weekend?
Working. What am I doing? I've done the LinkedIn profile. I'd love you to go online and read it. Go on to LinkedIn and read it's only in English, it's not in Italian yet. And see what you think.
Okay.
I've written the 4 video scripts for the promotion for the online session for coaches. And I need to record those videos and put them into little promotion sheets and schedule them so that they go out between now and the first one's already gone out, so I need to do the last 3. So I need to do that, and I need to finish translating my English psychology CV, mentoring CV into Italian, and then send it to Taya.
Right.
So there's big stuff to do. I've got halfway through the translation, and I need to complete the other half because other people are waiting for it. So I need to get that sent out, and then I need to start on the website.
Right.
And I need to look at a promo video that Ian's made for me. He's set up he got an idea where he'd do you a promo video that lasts about a minute and a half. And it's really simple. There's no voiceover. It's just simple text. So I wrote the text this week. Again, 20 versions of it. And I sent Ian the final version of it yesterday and said, this is the final version. I'm not going to touch this ever again. This is the version that we'll use. And I sent him some music to go with it. And then he puts the images to it. And it costs €100. No, it costs £100 for a video, and you can use it wherever. So YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you have publicity, you can use it as an introduction to you. So I'll use it on my website too. And what you do is you use yours as a promo and say to other people, that you can get this done. All it costs is 100. And but you take 25 of it, so it's a little way to earn money. So the more you sell, the more it's a tiny income stream, but you know, you get money coming in. So Ian put it together last night and said, take a look at it. So today I'm going to take a look at that and see what it's like and what he's done. And also I need to go to my supplier of gas and electricity before I get cut off and say, I can't pay your bill because it's 70 euros, and I need to have it in installments.
Right.
So it's part grind, but part taking me further than I am at the moment. And actually, I looked at a list that I'd made a couple of months ago, and I'd got through 3 huge things on that list. So I felt really good about that. I got through more than I thought. So the next big thing is the website.
And have you got any leads for work, or have you got anybody waiting? Or
I've got this week I managed to get an answer from the headmistress of the technical high school, and we're in matriculation started the other day for, it's like our O and A levels really. And it's called maturity here. That's the big set of exams. And so it's an insane period. And she said, I'm not saying no, but can you come and talk to me after the 14th of July? So I put a date in the diary, and that's it. I've sent off my 2 CVs, the London CV and the psych CV in English, because she said, give it to me in English, it's okay, to the head of cultural events here in San Martino. Every local government has a cultural assessorata. So I sent those off to her, and now the big thing is to get them translated and get Teo to correct my Italian so that I can send them out to other people who are waiting for them.
Right.
So, and I'm waiting for Alberto Mantovani, who's the head of studies at the counselling school, to come back to me. But he's in the middle of final exams, year-end exams. So it's an insane period for him as well. So I've just got to be patient and use this period to move forward with other stuff. So namely the website, take a month's free trial of Sales Navigator on LinkedIn to mine the data and get as many leads as I can, and then write a very short, very simple, I can help you, you know, let me introduce myself, and how would you like to, you know, see what I do by joining this free session. But that needs to be done fairly quickly too. So I need to sit down and map out when I need to do the next things, and what the priorities are, you know, what has to come before what, and so I need to mind map that.
So was the move to Verona, was it sparked by the headmistress?
Yeah, it was sparked by the fact that I'd come to the end of Trentino, really. I knew it. I was longing to get into a place where there was more life. I needed to come back to life, and going to live in a city, a manageable city, was one way of doing that, because there'd be more music events, there'd be more cultural events, there would be more events that I love. So I would have to give up on mountains in order to come back to life and find a way to get some money coming in, really, because my finances are in a terrible state. So it was that, and having the school so excited about the tester afternoon that I gave them last May, and having them say, having the headmistress come back and say, no, this project that you put together is too small, I want a bigger one.
Right.
Go away and give me a bigger one. I really want to we're going to do this, and I want to do it well. So I want you to give me the project that you want to give me.
Right, okay.
So having her say that, and then getting it approved, meant that the way I'd organised the project, there was no session longer than 2 hours. and some sessions would only last an hour, and I couldn't do a 300-kilometer round trip for an hour in Verona.
No.
So it was, well, Verona it is then, and it's strategically on the axis between Venice and Milan, which is in the center of Italy's most wealthy belt.
Right.
So I said, well, that's it, you know, and I've always liked Verona. It's a very livable city. So, so that was it, really.
Good.
And there does seem to be more interest here. There's more activity. There are more people doing my kind of work as a trainer, mentor, whatever. And I also found this week online another group of consultants in Milan who are doing, some really exciting stuff. So I'm actually going to apply to them and see if I can get a little bit of consultancy with them. I might even go back to IPQ in Monza and say, hey, how are we doing? Do you think that, you know, that you've used me, you like the Belbin system? Do you think that if we tweaked it, we could get more work from it? So it's a massive period of me rebirthing my work, repurposing it and making it more. But also I need to send the UK guy who rang me up from a big agency there. I don't know if I told you about this.
No, you didn't.
He found me on LinkedIn, and I'm just going to go to it because I just pull up my LinkedIn profile because I wanted to tell you about it, because it might be a way that you get more. Okay, messaging, here you go. Let me pull up my messages. Mark Firth, here you go. He's from he's called Mike Firth. No, there was someone else. Something called the HubSpot or something.
Right.
Find Mark Firth. I appreciate. He said, let's push it up a bit. Let's get it first. Mark Firth might not be for you, but this other place would be. But it costs £500 to join. And then they send you, they use your CVs because they're always on In Touch networks. Because they're always looking for good consultants. And they were interested in me because of the work I did with socially responsible entrepreneurs. And because of my focus of being, you know, get a healthy relationship with yourself, or go home and, you know, because it's going to be too difficult to be successful in your business because you'll keep sabotaging yourself. So he said, we work with a lot of startups, and I see you doing a lot of work with them. That's where your value would be fantastic, because we've got no one doing what you do. So that's why
there's I don't know if it's the consultancy business or the small business, something like that, but it's the same thing. I've done that, and then I got to the stage where they said, oh, we really want to work with you, but it's going to be £500, and then I just stopped. But I am a virtual consultant with quite a few consultancies. So for instance, a consultancy that works in the public sector, I joined them. They gave me an interview over the phone, and I am now one of their registered consultants. I do the same with fundraising, so that's another avenue, really.
And they don't charge you?
No.
They get their fee from the client.
They get the fee from the client, and the fact is that you're just adding to their kudos, really, aren't you? You're providing a different set of skills that they can use, or a different geographical region or whatever. So I've gone down that route rather than paying to be a member of something.
Yes, I mean, I did balk at the £500, and I said there's absolutely no way I can pay that at the moment, and I won't be able to pay it for at least a few months. But that's given me breathing space to look at other options. But I did, because I do need to work in the UK to protect my pension, and I would like to. as well, because it means that, you know, I'm from both countries, so it's nice to feel, whereas when I left the UK this time, it was, I'm not coming back, you know, this is the end of my trying to be British and fit in sort of thing. It wasn't quite that, but I knew that there was a slight mechanism going on, an undercurrent of that going on.
Yeah.
And it took me years to sort of feel comfortable with, well, I can't, my DNA is from both cultures, so why am I trying to force myself into one or into the other? This doesn't work for me anymore. And I was really happy when I reached that point. I knew I would reach it, and I was happy when I did, because it meant that I was finally accepting me and my, you know, my bastard dog, or what do you call it, a mongrel dog approach, which I always say, you know, I'm a mongrel, and because it makes people laugh, and I'm happy with being a mongrel, because mongrels are usually healthier than pure breed dogs.
That's true.
So it would be nice to work in both countries. I would get the best of both.
So that's been a good vein of work for me, to just be registered with, to talk to those people and be part of their virtual team. So that's something that perhaps you could have a look at as well. I
would. And if you've got any that you think I might fit with, if you could give me their some internet addresses, that would be fantastic, just to get me started, because I don't know anything about that sector in the UK, but I do know I want to get back into it.
Okay.
I'd have to work out how my work would work with Belbin, in Cambridge, because if I work here, I go through Belbin North America, but if I work in the UK, then I have to get the approval of Belbin UK to do it. And they would have to know that I don't do pure Belbin training. I add other things, because we know that training doesn't create sustainable change. There has to be more experiential learning and mentoring to create the sustainable change, which is me, which is totally me. So there would be things I would need to sort out, but I think it would be only to my benefit. It would
be a starting point, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It would mean I'd get to see UK friends more, because I'd be over more. So that would be nice. And you're getting warmer now. We're now officially a tropical monsoon country, literally. So I can't find the name of this group in all of my notes, but I know I've got it somewhere. I will give it to you when I find it. But I did bulk at the 500.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lot of money to pay. But then they said, you know, we've got, you know, 150,000 clients or whatever on our database, and, you know, we'll give you X number each month. So it was the normal setup. But I thought, oh, okay, all right, well, let's see. I'm happy to talk, because it's giving me an idea of what's going on in the marketplace, and it's giving me ideas. So, but I'm not sure that I will take it any further.
Okay.
Because 500 quid is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, yeah.
It's a lot of money, you know, without references, without knowing what they're doing, and without, you know, being able to talk to people who's in the system and who knows that they get that money back and more. So anyway, so good session today.
Yeah, thank you.
What's your big takeaway? What's your biggest takeaway? What did you find most helpful?
I think the whole thing about getting your juice back and self-regulating, the balance between those two things and how you go about doing it, that was really useful. Good.
It's little things like this that we tend to underestimate, but that make an enormous difference. And they're the things that I love working with, because they do make such a big difference, and we do underestimate them. So we totally discard them. But they're the things that because dopamine, I'll tell you about dopamine in another session, but dopamine is my favorite hormone at the moment. Is it a hormone? I think it is a hormone. And it's set up in a way that we don't understand. We thought it was just the pleasure hormone, but it actually helps motivate us. And I'll tell you about that in next session.
Okay.
Now, I want to tell you that you're booked up until the 28th of September with your latest payment. And that includes your birthday on the 10th of August. And you might not have a session on that day, but you might move it to another day in the week.
I definitely won't have a session on that day because Leslie's coming up. So.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, actually, that's rubbish. I probably won't have a session. Actually, I'll move it to a different day.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's absolutely fine. But I just wanted to make you aware of that. So you're going to have Leslie up for the weekend?
Yes.
Are you going to have any other friends up?
No, it's just Mozza. So we're going up to. She's coming here on the Friday, and then it's on the Saturday we're going to Scotland for the day, and then on the Sunday, Em and Stuart and her and Annie are all here. So
when you're going to Scotland, are you going to see Martin?
Yes. It's Jan's birthday on the same day.
Okay, all right. But so will you see Andrew? Will he come down?
Yes, everybody's going to be there, yeah.
Fantastic. So you'll see your little niece for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting. That's nice.
It is.
And how is Leslie now? Is she recovered?
I haven't really spoken to her. She had a birthday this week. She said she had a good day, and Ivy was very attentive, so we'll see.
Oh, so they're still together?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, enjoy the week, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed for good things coming out of what we've talked about. So we'll see. All right. Big hug.
Okay.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye. I have to stop recording.